A minor is quite a melancholy sounding chord because it's a minor chord. And there's a tone. And it's a 5-string chord.
5-string, not playing.
We don't play
the sixth
string.
Alright, would you like to play along with the Gigajam band?
Certainly.
Here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is just playing quarter notes, and the effect of this is, David?
Well, again, it just gets you used to the feel of the chord, gives you a bit of muscle memory, make sure the chord plays, make sure all the notes work, no duff notes. And it's always more interesting anyway if you're playing to some music, as an immediate musical application.
Alright, so we've now learned 3 chords.
3 chords, G, E minor, A minor.
Let's move on to our last one for today, which is D7.
Okay. The chord of D7, slightly unusual name you might think, because I've mentioned majors and minors, but I haven't mentioned about the numbers. Many chords have numbers in the title, which relates to a note in the scale, in this case the 7th note of the scale of D. Etc. We won't get into the whys and the wherefores of what really happens to that note, whatever. At the moment, all we've got to really worry about is the shape and the name. And remember, that name is this shape. We'll deal with the theory of why it's called, what it's called, later on.
Makes sense to me.
Now, D7 only has 4 strings. We only play 4 strings in the chord. 3 fingers again, with the left hand. The first finger is on the 2nd string at the 1st fret. The 2nd finger is on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger is on the top string also at the 2nd fret.
Right.
Okay, but we only strum 4 strings. And there's the tone of the chord. Now, something I'd just like to mention, particularly pertaining to the A minor chord and the D7 chord, and the strings that we play from. The bottom 3 guitar strings are E, A, D. Actually, this pertains to the E minor as well. E, A, D. If you're playing one of these open chords, which is called A, whatever, major, minor, 7, doesn't matter, but an A-type chord, a D-type chord, or an E-type chord, we strum from the respective string. So if it's an E minor chord, we strum from the open E string.
Right.
If it's an A minor chord, we strum from the open A string.
Which is the 5th string.
5th string. And if it's a D-type chord, we strum from the open 4th string, which is a D string.
That makes sense.
Okay. That's for E's, A's and D's. That's it. Those open strings for those 3 types of chords.
Just learn that little nugget, put it away somewhere.
Well, a lot of people maybe learn D7 and forget that it's only 4 strings and play 5. But that means that the low string you're playing is the A string, but the chord's D, or D7. So you'd actually strum from the D string for a chord of D7.
From the 4th string.
Yeah.
So as long as you know the names of your strings, which by now we should do.
Those 3 chords, E's, A's and D's, go from the E, the A and the D string, without a finger being placed on those particular strings.
Okay, good one. So that's
D7. Might be nice to play that to the extractor, just again so people can get used to the sound of the chord and just get used to that, that slightly different tonality. But those are the 4 chords I want to look at today anyway: G, E minor, A minor, and D7. And
you say that when we put them all together, we'll almost have a song.
We almost have a song, yes. They sit together quite nicely, and they sound connected when you hear them put together, which is specifically why I've started with these 4 chords, plus they're relatively easy to play.
All right, well, before we hear them all together, let's hear this one on its own.
D7, okay.
Along with the Gigajam band.
Lovely.
So you're just being mindful now of only playing those 4 strings, trying not to hit the 5th and the 6th. Let's move on. Let's put them together.
Done. Let's put them together. Okay. Now, again, anybody following the course work will see that I've connected them 2 chords at a time. So the hardest thing about this type of playing is you get the chords together. You'll probably be able to play them relatively quickly. you should be able to memorise them quite quickly, but changing from one to the other is the tricky bit.
This was one of our lesson objectives.
Yes, again, that's absolutely right. When we did the power chords, at least it was the same shape all the time.
Yeah.
These shapes are kind of unconnected. Okay, so we just have to practice changing between the chords and getting used to the movement. Again, I've tried to make it slightly easier by picking chords which are in some way connected. So, for example, if I play a chord of G, my first finger is on the 5th string at the 2nd fret, which is where it stays for the chord of E minor.
Okay.
So anytime you're trying to learn new chords and you're trying to change from one chord to another, try and see if there's any common ground. There's nothing, you know, more frustrating than learning a chord, taking all your fingers off and putting them all back when one or two of them are already in the right place, because you're thinking of it as a completely new chord. So try and see the common ground. I'm sure this will fall into place when people are aware of the chords anyway. But that finger doesn't really have to move. I slightly reposition it, but it's already in the same place.
Yeah, so that's one that you don't have to think about. And
exactly.
It's economy of movement,
Economy of movement,
say.
That's exactly it. So in the first exercise, we're trying to practice going from G to E minor and back to G. And then we'll run through the various combinations of chords. Okay. So in exercise 9, we've got 2 bars of G. Again, it's merely quarter notes, only quarter notes. We're then moving to E minor, also 2 bars of quarter notes. Okay, and this is where you probably need to use the extractor even more so. Slow it down if you can't change fast enough. Okay, so if you're finding that you're at maybe 80, and it's a bit too fast for you to change the chords, slow it down. The other thing which is very important is to try and move all your fingers in one go. That's actually quite difficult.
Yeah.
The tendency is to try and put one down then another, but try and, like, you know, be a bit brave and like leap for it. And you'll probably miss quite a bit, but eventually they'll start landing in the right place.
And this is important that we've practiced the earlier exercises and we know exactly what that shape is.
You've got to know the chords. You can't think, what's E minor again? You've got to know it, and you've got to be used to that shape and make sure it works. And then change as fast as you can so that the first beat of the new chord is smack on the money.
All right.
Very important.
I'll be watching for that.
Okay.
So this is G first of all.
Okay.
Changing down to E minor.
Back to G.
This is sounding brilliant already.
Good.
That's E minor. You've really got to be practicing those changes.
Yeah.
One more change.
Okay.
Nice one.
Lovely. Where I'm heading towards at the very, very end of the lesson, it goes G, E minor, A minor, D7. So what I've done, if people work through at home, work through the coursework, they'll see that we practice G to E minor. Then we practice E minor to A minor, because the chord sequence at the end will go G, E minor, A minor. So we need to be able to do a G to an E minor and an E minor to an A minor. So there's an exercise where you run E minor, A minor, E minor, A minor, then A minor to D7. And that's actually the one I'd like to look at next, the A minor to the D7.
All right, I'll scroll down.
Exercise
11, this is.
Exercise 11. The reason I bring this one up specifically is because the first finger is in the same place for A minor as it is for D7.
This is this economy of movement.
Economy of movement, exactly the same place, so no need to move.
Yeah.
So you practice your Gs to E minors, then practice E minors to A minors. A minor to D7, that finger's in the same place, so you can just move around your first finger.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a...
That's almost like a pivot point, isn't it?
Pivot point, exactly.
All right, so this is exercise 11 if you're following along with your notes at home.
Fine.
That's the A minor.